How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I'm actually going to be doing the vinyl tag. I've seen this tag kind of going around in the music community, and I think it's about time that I get around to that. But essentially this tag is basically 20 different questions about your vinyl collection. Before I do get started, I want to tag AlexD453 and John from ARTV. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. The very first question is, how many records do you own? I actually own 77 different vinyl records. This includes 7 inches and 10 inches as well. The second question is, what kind of record player do you own? And I actually have the Audio-Technica AT-LP60. I know a lot of my friends in this little music community on YouTube also own that record player. I believe Alex does, and I was actually recommended to get this one by John. Before that, you know, I was considering getting a Crosley Cruiser just because they're a little bit cheaper and look kind of cool and trendy. But while doing some research, I came to the conclusion that was definitely not the best idea, and I went with a better quality record player, which is the Audio-Technica, and I absolutely love it. Number 3 asks, how old were you when you started collecting vinyl? I was actually 19 years old. Before I actually started collecting, I did own 1 or 2 records, but I didn't consider myself like a collector because I didn't have a player or anything. But once I actually, you know, started getting into this music community on YouTube, I was inspired by a lot of my, you know, peers over here to kind of start getting into vinyl, and I was also starting to fall in love with how cool some of the different pressing you can get are, like different colors and all that kind of stuff. So I was just immediately in love with that, and I decided to start buying my own records. And that was actually, I think, in the fall or else right before Christmas time in 2015. Now we're going to start getting into some of the more fun questions where I can actually show some vinyl to you guys. Number 4 asks, what is the oldest record that you own? I have 2 different records for this one that I want to show you guys because I'm actually not too sure which one is older. They were both given to me by my dad. I don't actually know how old they were and when, you know, these were actually bought. But the first one is Deja Vu by Crosby, Stills and Nash. I showed this in my last vinyl update, and this actually sounds really, really good. Not sure how old this actual copy is, but it's definitely one of the older ones that I have. It is used, clearly, and it is kind of worn, but the record itself sounds amazing. And the second one that I consider also one of my oldest is the Beatles 1962 to 1966, basically a compilation of like their biggest songs in that time frame. And this one was also given to me by my dad. It was one of the first ones that I added to my collection because he just gave me a bunch of like older vinyl, and this is one of the ones that I decided to keep around because I am a huge fan of the Beatles, of course. The next question is, what is the first record that you ever got? And for me, that is actually Pretty Odd by Panic! At the Disco. I got this back in, I think, 2009. Obviously this record came out in 2008, and as you can tell, this is actually the box set edition of this record. It came with 2 black discs, and it's very vintagey, but I was such a die-hard fan of Panic when I was like 12, 13, so I just had to get this. Even though I didn't have a record player, I still like really wanted this. It says on it, DK Dance and Fueled by Ramen have issued this certificate to authenticate this copy of Panic! At the Disco's Pretty Odd as number 4,341 of a specially limited series of 10,000 copies. So this is super cool. I'm like so happy that I still have this. A lot of people were insanely jealous of me. Obviously Hot Topic and I think Panic also, they just kind of repressed this record finally this year. Before that, you know, it was so hard to find, especially this version of it. Number 6 is, what is the first record that you got with your own money? And that would be Fall Out Boy's Folie à Deux, and this is one of my favorite albums like of all time. But this one I got on Amazon, and there are 2 discs. The first one is red like this, and the second one is more of a gold orangish color. I think it looks more yellow in person, probably more orange on the camera, but both of those definitely go with the aesthetic of this album. But Folie was the first record that I actually did buy with my own money, and it was a great feeling to finally get that package in the mail and open it and listen to it for the first time. Number 7 is, what is your favorite colored vinyl? This one, I apologize in advance. I have like 4 records that I want to show you guys because I just can't pick one. I have so many that I think are just amazingly beautiful looking, so I just narrowed it down to 4. So the first one that came to mind was Knuckle Puck's The Weight That You Buried. Just look at this. Like, I seriously can't get enough. Like, I just want to stare at it all day. Another splatter one that I think is super, super pretty that I raved about in one of my last vinyl updates is Too Weird to Live, Too Ready to Die by Panic! At the Disco. I joked in the vinyl update that I want to eat this because look how delicious it is. Like, does it not look delicious? It's seriously gorgeous. The next one is Creeper's Eternity in Your Arms. It might be hard to see this one in the camera, but it is marbled and purple. Look how fucking saturated this is. It is gorgeous. Can't get over this. I need more vinyl that look like this. And the last one I want to show off that I think is super pretty is the Story So Far's self-titled. I posted a picture of this on Instagram a couple months back, so it might look better in that picture than it does on the camera, but as you can tell, it is like pink and blue. It just looks like cotton candy, and this is another one that I would enjoy eating. Number 8 is, what is a discount album that you own? And I have 2 for this one because it was like buy one get one half off or something like that. This was actually at Hot Topic. I think it was on Black Friday actually, and I saw That's the Spirit by Bring the Horizon. It's just on black, and I saw this beauty, Homesick picture disc, and I was like, well, I'm buying it. It's the actual album cover like on the disc, and holy shit, it just looks so good. And it was great that I was able to snag both of those. Number 9, what is your most prized possession? And what I'm about to show you is one of the greatest gifts I've ever received. I literally cried when John gave me this. Somehow he was able to find Take This to Your Grave by Fall Out Boy at some record store, and he surprised me with it. This was when I was flying down to him last summer, and my flight was actually canceled, and I thought I was gonna have to stay in the airport. I was stuck in Newark, and I didn't get a flight until like after 12 a.m. when I was supposed to be there by like 3 p.m. that day, and it was just so hectic. I was so stressed out and crying like in the airport because I was all by myself, and he surprised me with this to kind of cheer me up. As you can tell, it's still in the plastic. I'm pretty sure this is one of the original copies. I don't think they've like repressed this ever, and it's actually not even just on black. It's fucking blue. I fucking choked when I saw this. The next question is a record by a female artist, and I honestly don't have anything by like a solo female artist. So the closest thing I have that I actually own on vinyl is this Candy Hearts record that was actually given to me, you know, as a gift from a fan. This one's also colored. I believe it's just like a light pink color. But yeah, for right now, this is actually the only record I have that is kind of by a female artist or else female vocalist. Other than that, I don't have anything else that is, you know, female artists, except for, I guess, Fleetwood Mac. There's a female singer in the band, but I don't really count that, but I gave it to this one since she is the lead singer. Number 11 is a record by your favorite band, and I have all the records by my favorite band, so I just picked From Under the Cork Tree. Thank God Hot Topic repressed this. It feels amazing to actually be able to play this record on vinyl after so many years. And this is also a colored pressing, and it matches amazingly with the album art. It's like gold and then that red splatter in the middle that's like a maroon color. And I also want to mention that I've heard a lot of people complaining about this pressing and saying it doesn't sound good at all, but honestly, my copy, it's one of my best sounding records. Like, this sounds incredible on vinyl. Like, I was so blown away. This next one is an impulse buy, and that would probably be my copy of The Wall by Pink Floyd. I actually got this in Cancun, Mexico when I went with my boyfriend for our vacation. We went in like January, and we found a record store. We were hoping to maybe run into one, but I wasn't like looking for anything specific or anything. I didn't really expect to buy anything, but I came across this and I was like, dude, I gotta buy something while I'm in Mexico. I thought it would be super cool to like say that I got this in Mexico. Number 13 is a gift. So a vinyl record that somebody gave to me as like a present, and I was gonna say Take This to Your Grave for that one because, like I said, it was one of the best gifts I ever got from John, especially. I thought it was really special, but since I already mentioned that record, I thought I could talk about Color Me Kindness by Basement, which was actually given to me so kindly by a fan of mine who actually has sent me several things, which is so generous. Like, he really didn't have to do that, but he sent me this record. He knew I've been wanting it for a while, and the color on this one is so cool. It looks so lush and like green. It's almost like peacock feathers. The next one is your most played record, and honestly, I have like 3 for this one because whenever I got these records, I just played them continuously because they sounded so good. And I also think these select albums are really good to listen to on vinyl. Like, it's different from just listening to it like on Spotify or something, but on vinyl, they just fit that vibe perfectly. And the very first one is Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. It's just perfect to listen to on vinyl because it is an old vintage classic, and hearing it on the record player makes it such a different experience. I don't know what it is, because Pink Floyd, especially this album, it makes you feel like you're high or on drugs or tripping out just because of how crazy the music is, and when it's playing on vinyl, it just like adds so much to your experience. Another record that I've played a lot is definitely Peripheral Vision by Turnover. Whenever this record came out, I listened to it literally non-stop because I was so obsessed with it. It's such a cool, like, atmospheric, chill album that's perfect for vinyl. And the third one that I literally could not tell you how many times I've played because I've played it so many times, whether it's at my house, at John's house, I've played it quite a few times because I think it is such an incredible record, probably one of my favorite albums of all time. It is La Dispute's Rooms of the House, and this one's actually on purple vinyl. John got me this. I used to have it, I think, on just black, but we traded up and it does look like this. But this record is incredibly powerful. It tells so many stories. You get inside, you know, the writer and singer's head, and it's just instrumentally brilliantly written and even lyrically as well. It's just such a compelling listen that I cannot get over. Number 15 is a rarity, so a record that I own that is kind of rare. I already talked about Take This to Your Grave, of course, which is very rare. I would also say that box set of Pretty Odd is pretty rare as well, but since I already mentioned both of those, I want to talk about Drive North by Swimmers. This was like a limited pressing that they did for Uncool Records, and they just recently like put it up on their web store a few months ago, and I know I talked about it in one of my recent vinyl updates, and I think somebody commented on my video saying that it's no longer available, but I'm not sure. But this is a record obviously you can't just go buy anywhere. It's not being sold at Hot Topic or other vinyl places. It was only being sold on that Uncool Records store, so it's really awesome that I finally snagged this. For my rainy day record, I'm definitely selecting Luna and the Wild Blue Everything by Matt Caracas. This is one of my favorite albums of 2016. I praised it quite a lot around that time. It's acoustic for the most part, but just has this amazing, relaxing, and chill vibe. It fits the theme of a rainy day for sure. Also could not go without showing you guys how this one looks. It is like a baby blue and white. It just kind of looks creamy. I don't know, I love it. The next question is kind of the opposite of the last one. Instead of rainy day, this one is a feel-good album, so something that's more upbeat, makes you kind of smile and enjoy yourself. For this one, I am choosing Neck Deep's Life's Not Out to Get You, one of my favorite pop punk albums ever. And even though all the songs on here aren't super happy themed, they're all very fun to jam along to, I feel like. And it's one of those pop punk albums that kind of does put you in a good mood. All these songs are so catchy and easy to sing along to. It's great to throw on when you're driving around in the car, sing along with your friends. And of course, the title of this album is about being optimistic and, you know, not worrying about every little road bump that hits you in your life. You know, life goes on and it's not out to get you. Number 18 is a nostalgic album, so something that's kind of going to take me back to my past, maybe growing up, and just remind me of certain memories. And I have two selections for this one. The first one is, of course, American Idiot by Green Day, and then also Hot Fuss by The Killers. Both of these albums are pretty special to me. I was growing up, like as a kid, I would hear a lot of songs from both of these albums. Life was a lot simpler back then, you know, I was a wide-eyed child. I didn't really have too many worries about life or anything, so these songs, you know, do definitely take me back to those good old days. Number 19 is a record store day purchase, and honestly, I have not had the chance to participate in record store day yet. This year didn't really interest me whatsoever. There wasn't anything that I felt the need to like go out of my way to pick up, so I really haven't like bought anything for record store day yet. And the very last question is a recent purchase, and actually the last record that I bought was Lovely Little Lonely by The Maine, which is a fantastic album, by the way. This one is on purple vinyl. Fits the aesthetic of this album perfectly, I think. But yeah, that was actually my last vinyl purchase, and I'm very happy with it. So those were actually all of the questions for the vinyl tag. I hope you guys did enjoy watching this video. If you'd like to see my full vinyl collection or any other vinyl updates in the last recent months, you can click the little eye right up here to go to that playlist. Anyways, guys, make sure to leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to my channel if you are new here, and I will see you guys next time.